Football. I realize I don't actually own a football, so this is the closest thing I have in the house. Either way, football, or if you're one of our American fans, soccer, as they call it. But either way, it's one of the world's most popular sports. For those living under a bridge or in some kind of dark tunnel, perhaps you've not realized that the 2026 World Cup has officially begun. Which team are you supporting? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you don't watch football at all and are just watching the scores at the end of the matches. That's me. But Japan has got off to a fantastic start in their first official World Cup game. People are thinking behind the scenes, something might be going on. And the people are right. But we're not talking special anime powers and perhaps the coach having a death note. It's actually something really similar, but also very different. Stay with me here. The Japan Football Association has announced something basically straight out of an anime. Japan is launching a real-life football camp inspired by the popular manga Blue Lock. For those who have never seen Blue Lock, it is absolutely unhinged. It's a football manga in the same way Gundam Wing is about purely politics. It's a manga that eventually got made into an anime, and the premise is absolutely insane. In the story, the Japanese Football Union gathers 300 young strikers and puts them through a brutal training regime. The program is designed to help Japan create their first ace striker. For those that don't know, the striker is the guy, in the front. He does all the kickings into the goals and he does the scoring. There you go. I'm Jordan Green, and I'm here to help you with my football knowledge. But that's in the anime. In the more boring real life, the Japan Football Association has launched a project called JFA SCO Group Future Camp. Sounds like a Camp Rock style thing, but it's completely inspired by Blue Lock. The first camp is actually taking place really soon. It's taking place in August 2026 in, not Japan, surprisingly, in California, of all places. Have they learned nothing from how terribly the World Cup is being handled by the United States right now? Perhaps not the best idea to have a youth camp in California, of all places, where the heat can be only described as sweltering. But hey, I'll leave it to Japan. I assume they got a plan or something, Unlike the anime, they're not locking little boys into prison cells and forcing them to do weird challenges and play 3-on-3 matches against each other. I cannot stress how weird that sounds, but that is literally what happens in the anime. Please watch it. It's so ridiculous. And nobody's being banned from football forever if they fail out of this training camp. Once again, yeah, that's in the story. Like, if you fail the camp, if you're not like the A striker, you're barred from football. They bar you from football. So stupid. Although the penalties of failing out of the real life camp isn't as harsh as the anime, they are really leaning into Blue Lock in both its advertising and promotion of the camp to try and get as many top striker ace players as they can to the camp. And I gotta say, their timing is kind of absolutely brilliant. Japan is right now playing in the World Cup. They've just had a fantastic first match. I don't think you can have better advertisements for your football camp than the Japanese best playing in the world stage. What actually is this camp? And what the hell is a Blue Lock?
I am the power of God and anime on my side!
As described before, the fictional world of Blue Lock puts Japan in a perilous situation. They need an ace striker so badly enough to completely ruin the football careers of 299 other young hopefuls. That's kind of what the anime boils down to. Is it entertaining? Yeah. Season 1 was great, it was really well animated. Season 2 looked like fucking shit. Season 2 was terrible. People were calling it slide lock, PowerPoint lock, blue slide. Shit looked like a PowerPoint presentation. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. But look at One Punch Man. You win some, you lose some. The premise was really entertaining, but it did raise a question in both football and anime fans alike. Why hasn't Japan actually won a World Cup before? They are a pretty strong team, they're really flexible, they might not have the tallest players in the world, but the team's got heart. They've got jumping abilities, they've got very skilled players on their team. Could it be a case of just the world being stronger? Who knows? But from what we're seeing, Japan has leveled up and they're getting stronger and stronger every single year. So this Blue Lock effort seems to be a bigger push to get the younger generation not only excited about football, but excited and focused on winning a World Cup. But let's dive into this camp just a little bit more, because the real version is called Future Camp, inspired by Blue Lock. This camp was announced by the Japan Football Association and the SCO Group on May the 11th, 2026. So it's very recent. It was basically announced a month and a half ago, and it's happening in August. So the timeline from announcement to the actual camp happening is very, very short. But it's interesting because I did hear rumblings of a real life Blue Lock camp happening years ago, perhaps at the time when Blue Lock Season 1 was coming out. So I assume that rumblings of a conversation was happening, but it's only recently that all the pieces have been put in place and the camp is finally happening. Now, the camp isn't happening in Japan, and there is a reason for this. They're already doing a bunch of scouting operations in Japan. This is the group's first overseas scouting operation, so they're basically kind of checking out what talents are overseas, who has Japanese connections, and who will be willing to come back to Japan to play football professionally with the big boys here in Japan. But that's basically the purpose, to strengthen Japanese football. The first camp is only 3 days long, from August the 3rd until August the 6th, 2026, and it's going to be at the Great Park in Irvine, California. Irvine? The camp is aimed at under 16 players born between January 1st, 2010 and December 31st, 2011. So sorry, 37-year-old Japanese hopefuls living in California, you can't join us. This for the children, this for the youth of tomorrow. And to circle back to what I said before, you have to have some kind of Japanese heritage. This is of course trying to strengthen Japanese football. They eventually want to have a Japanese World Cup. So you have to be Japanese in order to participate. So to apply, players need to have either Japanese nationality or have a parent with Japanese nationality, or have the possibility of getting Japanese nationality in the future. So you're either Japanese by birth, Japanese by a parent, or eventually in the future, you don't mind coming to Japan and changing your entire nationality from American Californian to Japanese Tokyo Knight. And let me tell you, if I had a choice between Japanese Tokyo Knight and American Californian, I'm taking Tokyo. Are you crazy? California? Nah, fuck that. You're insane. Around 25 potential players are expected to take part, and unlike the Blue Lock anime, it's not just strikers. It's not just purely an event where they're looking for an ace spiker. They've got like a smorgasbord of talent coming in. There is around 22 outfield players and 2 to 4 goalies taking part in this real life Blue Lock. And while the camp is heavily relying on the Blue Lock advertising, it doesn't seem to be much Blue Lock happening in the camps either. It's not going to be some kind of a Japanese anime survival game. I apologize for those that wanted that. There are going to be JFA coaches there judging the players on performance and aptitude. Training will be assessed by various different judges and coaches. There'll be training matches, physical measurements, 5-a-sides, evaluations. It's very much a process rooted in sports, science, and football, and less about, you know, breaking down the puzzle pieces of your brain to create a new ego. Yeah, that's also in the anime. It's gonna be a pretty big event. Japan is sending 10 JFA coaches and also like 5 Japanese national team candidates from their under 15 roster. So they're really putting out their big guns and sending in their best men to work out what kind of players can we steal from America and bring back to the motherland. I'm not gonna lie, I really like the idea of attaching this whole Japanese Blue Lock anime vibe branding to an international scouting event, especially if you're Japan. Because if you're Japan, you want to have people coming to the event who are actually willing and able to eventually come back, maybe move to Japan, live in Japan, you know, play soccer professionally in Japan. So you don't want people just turning up to be like, oh, this seems like fun, maybe I can advance my career in America by taking the time to work with the Japanese youth. And having that anime branding, you're going to be able to see the weebs from the trees. And that's what you want. You want to get those weebs in early. Get them a taste of sushi. Give them a little onigiri. Let them know what real ramen tastes like. Show them our socialized healthcare. They'll love that. They'll never leave.
Why?
We briefly touched on why this camp is actually happening. They want to bring international talent back to Japan. For a long time, Japanese football has kind of been a little bit stagnant. And that kind of works with all Japanese things. It's a lot of looking for Japanese talent in Japan. It's a lot of trying to dredge up things that aren't there in the borders of Japan. When you have an entire world of talent waiting for you outside of Japanese borders. And slowly but surely the JFA realized this. Yeah, you can try to breed up a bunch of homegrown talent, and yeah, sure, you can probably build a very successful, very strong team with only homegrown talent, but you're wasting opportunities abroad. Go abroad, find new talents, bring them back young, train them up. It's what every other football league does. They look for young talents, train them up, help them where they can. If you have a talented person that you found early, you get to call dibs. You get to snatch him up and put him on your national team. And Japan has finally locked onto that concept. Only took them like 30 something years, but you know, they're finally here. And we love that for Japan. That's what we're here for. It's all about growth. It's all about growth. The association even said they don't want to rely on purely domestic talent discovery and selection, and instead they want to go out to the world and make contact with players who are eager and willing to play the game, the beautiful game, back in Japan. They said they are removing geographical limitations from their development and selection processes. And I fucking love that. I love that. Good job, Japan. Make it happen, dudes. Why Blue Lock? Hear me out here. That alone makes sense. Cool, you want to reach out internationally, you want to bring more talents back to Japan. We love that, makes perfect sense. Why Blue Lock? What was the reason there other than it's also just like a football anime? But the JFA did have a reason for this. It wasn't just anime funny, let's push it out. And initially I thought it was to attract players that love Japan and want to bring them back using anime as the hook. But turns out that's not the reason. They said using the anime Blue Lock was to raise awareness and motivation for players that want to actually come and live and work in Japan. Which is, you know, similar to what I was thinking, but they had a second reason behind it. The official release says that the project is using Blue Lock's themes of individual awakening and passion to be the best in the world to motivate players further to actually joining this project. And they also want to use those themes during the camp to inspire young people to go a little bit higher. I mean, to think about it, they could have used My Hero Academia's whole like plus ultra concept is very similar, you know, go a little bit further. What's the other one? There's like a whole bunch of anime that have like the whole concept of like digging deep and giving a little bit more and like working just a little bit harder. I think a lot of shonen anime does that really, really well, but considering it is like a soccer club, a football club, I guess it does make sense to use Blue Lock. The story of Blue Lock also does connect with the camp. I think I touched on it before. The story of Blue Lock is to create an ultimate striker to eventually win Japan the World Cup. And this camp is kind of similar. They don't want the ultimate striker, but they want to inspire a new generation of young people to eventually take Japan to a World Cup final and to eventually win the World Cup. Blue Lock creator Muneyuki Kaneshiro also gave a message to the project. On the official JFA camp page, he said that the real-life Blue Lock is about to begin and he hopes this project can become a stage for developing top talent. He also said that they are waiting for true egotists who can aim to win the World Cup. This man loves football. This man is not playing around. Although there is that whole anime connection, it's really fun. All the advertising is really interesting. The anime itself is kind of insane. This is still kind of a very serious football camp. They're trying to create a team of the future. So I hope no one goes in there like, woo, I'm gonna be the best egotist. I mean, you can, but like when the match starts, when the training begins, you're gonna have to lock in. You're gonna have to Blue Lock in because like, they're testing you for everything. Supposedly the JFA are checking the league background of potential players, evaluation techniques, decision making, individual tactics, athletic abilities, and like a whole bunch of other areas. And I assume there's gonna be some kind of team play activity also done. It's football after all. It's a team sport.
Let's play football.
World Cup! World Cup!
We can't talk about Blue Lock, real life Blue Lock, without talking about the 2026 World Cup. At the time of recording this video, Japan has only played one of the 2026 World Cup matches, and that was Japan versus the Netherlands. And they got out there and showed the Netherlands who the true egotist was. We're talking goals at the 88-minute mark. We're talking legendary jumps, amazing defending, fantastic team play. They were out there with God and anime on their sides, and I'm just waiting to see what these guys do next. Their next game is with Tunisia on the 21st, followed by Sweden on the 25th. Now in the Asian football leagues, Japan's pretty damn strong. Pretty damn strong indeed. Reuters reported that Japan was the first non-host nation to qualify, securing their place in March 2025 with 3 games to spare. Across 2 rounds of Asian qualifiers, Japan scored 54 goals and only gave up 3 goals. These boys weren't playing around. These boys weren't playing around. They knew the Blue Lock camp was coming. It was all on the line. They couldn't miss their chance to be in the World Cup. What are you guys playing at? What are you guys playing at? You're not beating my boys. Damn. Japan is also appearing in their 8th consecutive World Cup, which shows how consistently good the national team of Japan has become. They reached round 16 at both of the last 2 World Cups, and in 2022 they beat both Germany and Spain in the group stages. That's massive. These are hugely popular teams. These are massive powerhouses in the football world. A lot of them are destined to win the World Cups. To be beaten by Japan in the group stages, insane. Absolutely insane. It just shows how much stronger the Japanese teams are getting year after year after year. And while it is insanely fun to watch the Japanese national team play at a world stage, there is still one thing they have never done, and that's reach the quarterfinal at the World Cup. They always fall just a little bit short, always miss it by a goal or two, and it's just devastating to watch every year. But this year might be different. Japan this year aren't being treated as a team that are just happy to be there. They're not treated as a team that just kind of accidentally found themselves at a World Cup stage. Other countries are wary of Japan. They know that if you give Japan an inch, they'll take a mile and then score 2 goals in the 88th minute. They're not here to play games, they're here to win, or at least get to the quarterfinals. Winning the entire World Cup is a massive thing. It's a different level. It's something that every team is there to do. Yeah, you have teams that are there for fun, how do we get here? We're just here to have a good time. But the vast majority of teams, they're there to win. They're aiming for the trophy. There's no rewards for second place. To be completely fair, the chips aren't really on Japan in the World Cup this year either. People aren't really seeing them as a team that's going to go all the way. They see them as a strong contender, a powerful Asian team, but a lot of people aren't seeing them as a team that's going to win the entire thing. Most people are saying that the more realistic target for Japan at this World Cup isn't the trophy, it's actually going beyond the 16 rounds and getting to the quarterfinals for the first time ever. This is why the Blue Lock camp is so damn interesting, because it's not for right now. Japan isn't putting all their eggs in a right now World Cup basket. They're looking to the future. They're looking at like 10 years in the future, the next World Cup, or maybe the one after that. That's the target they're aiming at. This World Cup, the 8 before that, it's like Japan is playing a football roguelike game. They're playing the game, they're fighting in tournaments, they're gaining skills, gaining ability, getting stronger. Then they're going back to home base, respeccing, changing their armor, and doing the run all over again. This is Japan's 8th consecutive World Cup. The question is, how far will they go? Will they get the trophy? Who's to know? Will they get out of the group stage? But I, for one, I'm going to be locked in. I want to see who the true egotist is. And my money currently, I'm putting it on Japan. I'm putting it all on Japan. So we currently have 2 big things to look out for. 2026 World Cup, how far is Japan going to get? And our second thing to look out for, well, that's well into the future. 6 or 7 years from now, how has this Blue Lock camp in 2026 changed the dynamics of Japanese international football? I'm excited to see. But guys, that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this dive into Japanese football. It seemed to make sense considering the World Cup was happening right this second. But guys, I'm gonna love you and leave you. But if you're loving these videos, I'd be so appreciative if you give me a little follow, give me a little like, let me know what you're thinking of the videos. But if you do have some more time, I got another video right here. This one's about killer bears in Japan and how they're getting more dangerous every year. So that's fun. And I'll see you in the next one. See you. There is construction outside my house, and I pray this buzzing is not being picked up. We can only pray.